So right now you can see this is one container which are in stop conditions. Now if I need to do this one. Hello. Hello. हाँ Anupin. Here let's say if I have Docker images, see this much image I have. I need to remove all this image one by one. So one way would be like in order to get the information, you can run like this one. Or if you want to get the list of all images, simply run this one. This way it would give you the just image ID. Now if you run this one, so what will happen? It will delete all the images. Right now it will throw an error. Why it is throw an error? The reason behind it, like using this Docker container, I have created it. Using this Docker image, I have created Docker container, and that container is in a stop condition. So it would throw an error. Let me see. Guys, this is very important concept because you may have to do this one means multiple times you may have to perform this one. So now onward I can give you my example. Initially, like I was using all VM. See here why I was telling you that I will get an error. Reason behind it, my Docker ps-a. Still this images exist. If I remove this one, Docker rm and 33. By the way, guys, see you this identifier, this container ID, it is not necessary you'll have to copy each and everything. Even though if I type rm33 means initial two or three letter, it would work. See here, it is working. It is not getting. Now if I run like this one, what will happen? Whatever the image we have, each and everything will be deleted. Still okay. So now if I see, we'll have to see why it is throwing an error. ps-a, no image, Docker images. Okay, so now you can see this image and this image ID both are same. Reason behind it, sometime what happened, like I did I created this image. After that I provide a tag, I rename it to another name like this one. That's why it is showing this kind of error. In order to avoid this one, you may have to write like this one, Docker rmi, and you will have to write this one. And if you are not providing anything, by default it will assume tag is latest. So now you can see actually they have not removed this Docker image. Rather, they have simply untagged. That's it. So guys, did you understand the logic behind it? Why the two Docker images have same ID? Is that clear, Rahul, or not? Okay, let me do one thing for you. Okay, let me remove all each and everything. Then I will tell you like how it is working. Okay, so you can see as of now my computer have completely blank, means no Docker image are available. Now this is a simple Docker files I have written. By the way, this one right now I can tell you like how why I have created this one. So this is the Docker image that I have deployed it into our, see, this cluster. This is what the our VTCam website is, and I have configured it for this one, for this API. Means the API right now we are talking about. So if you see this one, this is the body part. So right now I'm getting this data and this is happening. So devapi.vtcam.com/api plus user. Okay, so this one I have deployed it into ECS. See, this is the ECS, and using Docker. See here, this is the services that I have created, and here this is the task, and inside this task I have this Docker containers. See, this is the Docker image that I am using. So if you see, the configuration is like this one. This is the image URL, and this is the tag. At the incarnation, this is the tag. This tag I am generating it while creating our Docker container inside GitHub, inside GitLab. You can see. So this is what my GitLab is, and if you go to my development branch, see here I am building this Docker. See here, this is where I am building this Docker image. So you can see this is the files that I am pushing this one. So this is it is happening in the cloud. See, this is the, can you see? This is the tag I am generating it for that has generated for the commit ID. Using commit, I am generating this tag number, and this tag number I am using it for Docker image like this one. This one. So technically, what I am doing here, and you know, this is what my Docker image is. So using this method, I'm generating this one. So now let's say how actually it would work. Let's do this one. So I have this Docker files that are available. So first I will do Docker build -t, and the your what should be the file name. So let's say I'll be using this one, vtchamps backend dev. Let's say this is the file name I have. Dot. If I am not providing anything, that means it will assume this one will be the latest tag. Otherwise, you may have to provide a tag number. So if I do so, what will happen? It will generate a Docker image using this method. Okay, so now you can see uh, Docker images. See here. So right now I have created a image called with this one with tag this one and image ID this one. Now let's say I need to create Docker image into this format. Okay, so for that I may be able to means like this one. So in order to do that, you see here how I have created here. HTML tag this one. So Docker tag. So this is uh, you'll have to give the reference from where you are creating this tag. So let's say if I am creating this tag from here, now see Docker. You see both documents have same ID but different. This image repository name and tag is nothing but a kind of nomenclature. This ID play a big role because if there is no any additional layer, ID won't change. So if you debug this one, you would find total number of layer in this image and this image are both are same. That's why ID is same. Although I have changed the name, but obviously name and tag. So initially name I was this one and tag was this one with ID. But now this is the name, this is the tag, but ID with this. So now is that clear, guys? I think now. So this one is clear now. Let's say you may have to delete this image to somewhere else, means to Docker Hub, or maybe to this one like ECR. See, by the way, like you might have gone through this one. See, if you see this one, there is a pricing buttons option that are available. They are providing one private repo and unlimited public repo. In that case, you have to pay any additional amount. Pro for individual. For the tools, developer with the advanced requirement for parallel building with unlimited private repository. In that case, you may have to pay $5 in a month. For team organization, you may have to pay like this one, $7 per user per month, like this one. And of course, this one. So, but in our case, like I'm using, see, even though this one would become expensive if you are using TR. There are a lot of advantage that I'll tell you one by one. But you can see this is the repository you have, and Okay, so now if you see this one, this is what we discussed about. Means you can stop all Docker container at one point of time. You can remove all stuff. You can access the created Docker container. Okay, let for this one I'll tell you how it will work. So you can see right now I have Docker EX minus A. No container are running, and Docker images. This is the Docker image I have. This Docker ID. So let's say if I run this one like this one. So Docker run minus IT. If you provide D means it will be detachable mode. Otherwise, you may have to, if you just provide IT means it would be interactive mode. If you provide D, what will it will be in the detached mode. IT and port number minus P. So let's say outside port I would use 5002. Inside port is 5001 because I have defined it here like this port should run on. See here, I have defined it that this port should run on port 5001. So you may have to define it anywhere. I have not defined it. So technically our internal port is 5001. So this is the internal port, this is our external port. And for which Docker image I should run? I should run this Docker image. If I do so, what will happen? Our application would run in the background with port number. Internal port would be this one and external port would be this one, 5002. So now let's say if I use this one, see I'm getting this data and our application is running in the background, in the foreground I would say. So now I need to go inside this Docker container. What exactly this Docker container would be? Docker ts minus a. So this is the container ID I have. I need to go inside this Docker container. The command would be Docker exec minus it Docker ID slash bin permission denied. See here, bin bash. So what happened? If you see this ID and both are same, so that means I am inside this Docker container. See, and these are the files that are available here. You can see the files, whatever the files we had put it here, and we are running this one docker dot means whatever the file that are available here. I'm putting all the file into this location. Okay, so this was the main error. Anyway, so you can, I am inside this one. Okay, so this was just basic introduction how to create Docker image, how to build Docker image, how to attach different Docker image, and so, and how to destroy, how to get the status and all. In the next use case two, let's move to the use case two, and here we would see how we can combine two different services. So two different services means, see here, like this one, we will be using Nginx as a web services and our code as a main services. So we'll combine both and we'll create a new product. You remember like when we started learning, when we started Node.js application, Node.js with Nginx PM2 and so that at that time we combined Node.js and this one Nginx. So and there it was each and everything. It was in this in this field only. Means we install each and everything one by one. Here, what we'll do, we will configure each and everything in the single product and we'll deploy it. So if you see the description, it is completely written the real world scenario. Deploy a Nginx HTTP server, override the configuration in it, copy my static file written in HTML5 Bootstrap. So the real world use case would be developer has to download Nginx server, make the changes, bank the back the configuration changes to HTTP server. And biggest advantage of this service is that there is a possibility that HTTP server may not work or with a particular operating system. When promoted higher environment such as QA, file may be missed and out of the configuration may have to change which error form. So now so technically what I'm to say, like we will be creating see in the previous session what happened, like we created this Docker image and our port number was this one, means it was accessible on port this one. Now our point is like although internally it would be accessible on this port only, but using Nginx we will finally redirect to HTTPS or HTTP, means port 80 or port 443. So this is what we'll have to do it. Okay, so here we'll be doing this stuff. Okay, so now you can see. Okay, let's see. See, guys, what you can do here means we have already given you the information how you can install it into your Ubuntu system. If you have the MacBook or some other system, you can also follow the same. Like it is already provided all this information. Means these are the installation step for Linux. If you are having MacBook, you can perform the same and you will be able to install it. For window, I think for window I have not provided here. Anyway, so in my case, like I have already installed it in my local computer. So what I'll do here, I'll be doing each and everything in my MacBook one day. It's up to you. You want to continue with AWS, or you want, if you have already installed, if you have already configured your Docker environment into your local computer, then you can use it your local computer as well. Otherwise, the way we did it in the previous session, uh, you can do it that way as well. Okay, so far, let me clone this project first. Okay, so now what I have to do. See, the step is very simple. In that step, I have already written all the script. So the thing would be like simply you'll have to run this command docker build -t -index dot. So what will happen if you do so? It will generate a file. See, it will generate our Docker containers. Same thing the way we did earlier. We will be doing same thing here as well. We'll be running this one. And another one. So by the way, guys, did you see the Docker? Can you see? Like this is the two images I have. One is running on port 4 times 7, another 3 times 7, 80. Let me access it here. See, this is the same thing we have. This one. Now coming to this one, like why it happened means why this time we didn't like this one. Port 80, 80. Initially, in the first case, it was giving the value like our internal port was some other values. Okay, sorry, this was also this one, but this application was running with the help of httpd, means apache, and right now we are accessing this server using nginx. So so for that the configuration would be almost same, but means we'll be using the different web services. So here we were using httpd server. In use case 2 we were using uh, node.js server. See, this is the now if you come to docker file, see how it has been written. The first thing, we are taking the reference of nginx 1.14. Once it done, we are just providing the levels like this one, and then see, this is the default conf file that we need to put it inside this folder. So what is the exactly this default.config available? We can see it here. So what we are suggesting that like our our application should run on port 80, means our internal port would be 80. Host server name will be localhost. This is the location where our file is available. User share nginx html vector learn, and rest of the thing is not required. If you are having PHP file, then you can use this one. If you want to use this one, like you see proxy pass. So this part we'll be discussing later, but Right now I can give you the idea like how these things work. Okay, so now I can give you the production ready environment. So in my case, I have already set up this thing for one of my application. I'll show you how this application that I have configured for one of my application. uh, I think, yeah. Yeah, see here, this is the Nginx. What we are doing here, we are simply following the system. Listen is equal to 4200, and we are using so. So technically, if you see this Docker file, step is very simple, and similar step that I have written here. Step is like this one. We are taking this reference. After that, we are copying this one. We are installing it. We are installing Angular. We are providing this information, and at the end, we are putting this configuration into this folder or this file. Okay, so now we already have this folder, and we are accessing this folder on port 40, 4200. So this is the live example that we are using it for my own application. The same way you can use it here as well. So in fact, we are using here. So this is the default configuration that we have chosen, and in the Docker file, see in the Docker file that what I have done, Nginx, and we copied this configuration. See this one and this one, it is almost similar. See here. So what we have to do, just learn once and apply it at multiple locations, multiple projects. So guys, is that clear? So how would you know that configuration should go to the particular location? Okay, perfect. So you'll have to understand one thing. If you are if you are using Node Nginx, so that means, okay. So okay, let's do like this one. So right now, my application is running. So how you would know like this one? So this can be done like this one. The exec minus it, and this is what my application is. Bash bin bash bash uh, etc. Generally, Nginx should be installed into etc directory. After that, there is an Nginx folder. See, from here you can get the information. See here, these are folders. This is a folder where your default configuration file are available. So from here you can get an idea where this configuration file. According to it, you may have to plan for the same. Means, see, as I told you earlier as well, in order to create automation script, first you should know how these things work in the manually. So here, first you'll have to do this debugging by yourself using manual steps. Once you know, okay, this is the location where I'll have to put it, then you can put it. Then you can create a test script, so that whenever you will replicate similar kind of stuff, at that time you'll have the complete idea, complete picture idea, like how what exactly you'll have to do. You'll simply write that a step and it would work for the next step. Guys, everybody understood? Rahul, did you understand? uh, I think Rahul, are you available?
So Prabhat, uh, uh, we are putting then after that we have like copy pictolon sample, and we are putting that folder on the pictolon folder, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the pattern that we have to do where while configuring the Docker file.
Yeah, exactly. Means this is how you'll have to follow the steps. I can give you my example, what I have done here. So this is what my Node.js application is. So if you see my live example, what I have done, I have simply taken the reference. After that, I just copy the file, I just installed it. Whatever the file we have, I just copied it. So it went inside this folder because we defined it like work directory with this one. After that, at the end, we install this plugins, and then we run this one. CMD means if each and every step would work, whenever you create a Docker container, it will execute the task. So our task what? PM2 dash runtime index.js. So technically we should have we I may have to run this application in the background. So for that, you may have to perform this. So this is how it works. Means you will have to take the reference. After that, you'll have to install the required library, and at the end you'll have to run it. So in my case, I just took the help of this one, PM2 plugins that I just took the help of this one. So guys, did you understand this stuff? Okay, so I hope you guys understood about this concept. So let's perform the activities. The step was very simple. Uh, okay, now this is the new concept that we are going to discuss right now. What happened? Like I just created a two different Docker container. Okay, so now coming to this one. So guys, do you know like you can so far what we have done, we created our Docker image, Docker container with the help of Docker image, and we can create the reverse as well. Reverse in the sense, with the help of existing Docker container, you can create a Docker image. So far, what we were doing here, we were doing this kind of stuff. First, we used to install this Docker container, Docker image. After that, we used to convert this Docker image to Docker container using Docker build monastic, the Docker run monastic. But if you are already running your Docker container, you can debug it, you can customize it. At the end, if you think like your Docker container is running perfectly fine, you can convert your Docker container into Docker image as well. That could be also done. So what we have done, our okay, let's see. So this is the step that we have followed. Logging into container. So this is what I did. Docker exec minus it container id, and after that bin/bash. So this is the way you can go inside your running Docker container. Now what do we have to do? Let's say if exit. Okay, now I may have to upload this Docker container into Docker Hub. So in order to do that, you may have to register on Docker Hub first. So guys, everybody please register here. hub.docker.com. You may get the sign up button. Please do the same step. For me, I have already done this step, so I'll be logging to the system. So I have already logged into the system. See, I have this much image so far. So you can put anything. Guys, guys, everybody have already installed to your Docker Hub. Siva, have you installed it? Okay. What about other guys? Rahul? Okay, please do the same quickly. Okay, so now if you have already logged in, so simply you will have to run like this one. Docker login. If you do so, they may ask you to provide your username and all. So see here, they have already given this information. Log in with your Docker ID to push the full Docker image from your Docker Hub. If you don't have the Docker ID, head over to Docker hub.docker to create a new one. So you simply run this one. So my username is this one and password is. So guys, you should get this message: login succeed. If not, then there is some error that you will have to find. It might be possible that your password is not correct. Shiva, have you got this message? Ashok? do the tagging part. So right now, if I write this one, dock docker images, okay, so this is the docker. Okay, this is the docker image that I have. Now I need to deploy this one. See, in order to deploy this one, your docker image should be in the perfect shape. See this one. First should be your username, after that your file name, and after that your version. So first we'll have to create, or you can provide a tag into this format. So in order to do that, we may have this method. So this is my source image. Source image is my nginx, and what is the version? Latest. We may have to put it in the URL, so repository name. So you'll have to put like this one. Let's say if my username is Prabhat, so this is what this is my username, and image name is would be my dash nginx, and the tag would be latest. So this is what. So this is the format, means a Docker Hub format. If you want to deploy it into Docker Hub, you should provide the name like this one: your username, your image name, and with a tag. So let's say in the case of tag, it would be latest. Okay, if you do so, what happened? Docker. See, this one is already created. Now I need to deploy it into the Docker Hub. So the command is very simple. Docker push and repository name. What is our repository name? Our repository name is this one. Copy this one and put it here. So what is happening? We are pushing this Docker image into Docker Hub. See, this one has posted, and the file size is 1365 byte, means this is just 1.3 size that I have put it here. So now if I search my nginx, okay, let's see if I need to my profile, I can go to here. See here, few seconds ago that I have done it. What is the tag? Tag I have put it as a latest. When did I do it? When did I do this? I did it around 1 minute ago. So this is how you. So now what I'll do here? Let's say Docker rm-f. Rm-f, what exactly they do? You need not. Okay, let's do one thing. Docker rm. If I write 60, what will happen? You will get an error. Can you see? You cannot remove a running container. If you want to running container, you may have to use -f. So what will happen? First, using -f forcefully, you are removing this container forcefully. That means it will remove. It will stop your container first. Then after that, they will remove it. If I do so, see, I'm able to remove this Docker container from here. Same way we can remove all of this. Okay, so now you can see as of now, this is what my Docker image is. Let's say if I remove rm Docker rmi, this one, what will happen? You see, this Docker image are not available. But if I need to pull it from Docker Hub, we'll use this command. If I do so, this Docker image would be available. See, this one and this both are same. Same ID, same ID. So guys, is that clear? See here, like, see, this is what I have written. If you want to create a new modified image from the previous image, you you can you can perform this step. See this one, Docker tag, full push. You can remove the container ID, you can remove the all container, and so this way you can say using this method you will be able to deploy different means technically you can create your own Docker image and you can deploy it anywhere depending upon what kind of use case you have. In my case, I'm using ECS, Elastic Container Services, in order to deploy my Docker image. Okay, guys. So is that clear to everybody? Okay, guys. So then we'll discuss more about the same in the next class. Most probably in the Monday, we'll be discussing more about other stuff as well. In use case 3, 4, 5, we have for more use case. We'll be discussing each and everything one by one.